So this morning while reading the Bible for my family, I found something very interesting I can use. Every time you find things, you have to use them. You don't just let them fall away like that. So I'm going to show you what I found. Because there are groups that say actually that they are the real Israel, that blacks are the real Israel, and so on. So this big group in the U.S. that is called Black Hebrew Israelites. Black Hebrew Israelites. Shalom, shalom. So these people actually say that they are the real Israel. But every now and then you find little nuggets that you can use, So here's one right here that you can use. It's very, very, very peculiar. Very, very special to find that. Okay? Little simple things to prove when people are lying. Now these people were started actually by Elijah Muhammad and those other people. I'll do it in French in a while. Je vais en parler justement tout à l'heure. Je vais en parler en français tout à l'heure. So I'm going to English first. I'm going to show you why false. I'm going to show you right now. Have a look and you'll see. Let me just flip the camera and you'll see right now. Flipped. Now, these people that are black, yeah, they're fake. Je vais faire en français tout à l'heure. I'll do it in French in a while. Je vais faire en français tout à l'heure. Let me show you why they're fake. Genesis chapter 15, Black Hebrew Israelites. Il dit Black Hebrew Israelites in Christ. C'est ce qu'ils disent, qui sont des chrétiens, ainsi de suite. Mais je vais faire en français. Je vais faire en français tout à l'heure. So here's why they are false. It's written here in Genesis chapter 15. Okay, you can see here in verse 13. And he said unto Abram, know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in the land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. And also that nation, when they shall serve them, will I judge, and afterward shall they come out. I didn't see the comment, but it's about the Black Hebrew Israelites, mainly in the States, and they're spreading all over. There are lots here even, okay? And that ideology came out from the States. It was started by Louis Farrakhan and some other groups who are actually Muslim groups, but to infiltrate Christian groups so that they would turn against, infiltrate Christian and black groups so that they would turn against so-called the white Khazar Israel, okay? That's what it is. That's what it's about. So here's the rest here. So it said, and they would come out with great substance. Here's the problem right here. It said, and Abraham, know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs. So they say, okay, they are strangers in a land that is not theirs. They were taken from Africa and brought to America. Okay? Now, here's the problem. If you're taken from Africa, brought to America, Salut. Je vais faire en français tout à l'heure. So here's the problem right here, okay? They say that they are the seed of Abraham and they were taken from Africa and brought to America. Now, when did black slavery start? Je vais parler tout à l'heure. Justement, ça c'est faux. Je vais te montrer que c'est faux tout à l'heure. Mais je vais parler en français tout à l'heure. Donne-moi un instant, je finis pour les anglophones. Parce que les anglophones m'ont posé des questions. Je finis pour les anglophones. So here it is, right here. Je vais en parler tout à l'heure. Attends, hibernage. J'arrive, je reviens en français. Donne-moi 3 minutes, environ 3 minutes, je reviens en français. So here's the thing right here. If Africans are the real seed of Abraham, okay? I don't understand if the Bible must be false in some way and somehow, okay? So the Bible must be false in some way and somehow. Why? Because it spoke about the children of Israel that were slaves in Egypt for that 400-year period, and afterwards they left. Now, it doesn't say that the children of Israel would be slaves in a foreign land for 400 years twice. No, it says that they would be there, they would be slaves, and after they would come out, okay? They would be slaves. Je vais faire en français tout à l'heure. Patiente, patiente. They would be slaves and they would come out. Now, here's the thing. When blacks were brought to Africa, it is not all blacks that were brought to Africa. No, they don't. Actually, they don't hate Islam necessarily, and they don't follow the Bible. If you look at the groups, they're actually lying. They were started by Louis Farrakhan and what's the other one? Elijah Muhammad. Okay, they were started by Muslim groups actually to influence Christians and blacks to hate Jews, and they call Jews Khazars, false Jews. They call them whites. If you look at any of the teachings, you'll find that they hate white people. Okay, and yet they use a Bible, King James 1611, that was written by whom? King James, a white man, not written but translated. Okay, translated by it's called a Septuagint, translated by 70 people that was gathered by King James, was a white man, and these people were white men. Okay, these people were white men, and they're saying that the whites, they're using a white Bible, quote unquote, okay, a Bible that's translated by white men. That what the translation was asked to be done by a white king, and they're using that to say that whites are actually evil and whites are not of the Lord and whites are not Jews. Okay? Now here's where you have the truth. Je reviens tout à l'heure en français. Merci. Je reviens tout à l'heure en français. Here's where it is. If they were strangers in the land, how many times would they be strangers in the land? Once, not twice. No, that's okay. Once, not twice, okay? Strangers in the land for 400 years, it was supposed to be once, not twice. Now here's the thing. Here's where you can prove that these people that say that they're Jaden, these people that say that they are blacks and they are the true Israel, here's one proof that is false. All of the children of Israel, it is written, went into Egypt, they were in bondage, and then they came out. All Africans were not brought into America or the Caribbean as slaves. Only a little part were brought into America and the Caribbean as slaves. Not all. Here is all of the seed of Abraham. Okay? All of the seed of Abraham will be brought into Egypt as slaves. And they would come out. Okay? I've looked up the etymology of the word black. But all of that has, what I'm showing here, if you see, proving that these people that say that the real Israel are blacks, okay, is fake. When was all brought into slavery? All of Africa wasn't brought into slavery. If Africans were slaves on the African continent, that means they were not taken into another continent, for one. Now, if parts of the Africans were taken as slaves into America, that's still not all that were taken as slaves into a foreign land. You get my point? You see what I'm saying? Now, look at verse 13. And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and afterward they shall come out with great substance. Now, here's the problem. The blacks in America are no longer slaves. They can say, yeah, we're slaves to the system. No, there is no longer slavery of blacks as it was in Africa. Okay? And it didn't take 400 years. Okay? Blacks were not slaves in America for 400 years. Nowhere. When did America begin as a nation? If we say America began in the 1600s, okay? And right now, we're in 2000. That's 400 years about, right? Blacks were not slaves in Africa and the Caribbean for all that time. No way, no how. And if you say, yes, the slavery started in Africa, well, slavery that is in Africa doesn't prove that it was brought into a foreign land. It's just said that they're slaves in Africa. You see my point? Now it's said here, whom they shall serve, and I will judge afterwards. Has America been judged for black slavery, or has Europe been judged for black slavery? I don't see that anywhere. I don't see that anywhere. Blacks may not be considered human in the US, if you will. If you say so, that's your opinion, okay? But that doesn't mean that they are slaves. Not to consider someone human doesn't mean that they are slaves. You show me which law. Show me which law that's written in. But not considering someone as human, an animal. Is an animal a slave? An animal isn't human. It's not because an animal isn't human that an animal is a slave. A fish isn't human. Is a fish a slave? A computer isn't human. Is a computer a slave? So what are you saying? Because blacks are not considered human by American law, that means they're slaves? Where do you get your folly from? You're going deeper and deeper into racism. It's not because the other one is racist that you are to become foolish with racist ideology. But here's what it says. It said, and also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and afterward shall they come out with great substance. No, there are some blacks that are rich in America. Okay? There are some blacks that are rich in America. But slavery is now done in the US. The mass of blacks that are there are no longer, yes, they may be poor, they may be, if you want to call it, under the system or whatnot, as you will. You say as you please. There's some truth, but there's also much falsehood in many things. But the blacks in America, okay, are no longer under slavery. Okay? Bonjour, bonjour. They're no longer under slavery. Okay? You can call it penitentiary system. That doesn't mean it's slavery. Because are not all the other blacks out and free? Aren't there whites also in jail? So shall I call it, because whites and Mexicans are in jail, shall I call that slavery? You see, there's a lot of you cannot defend foolishness, okay? You cannot defend foolishness. That only makes you a bigger fool. Prison is not slavery. Prison is prison. Prison is prison. Prison is not slavery. There are whites in jail. They're slaves. Huh? There are how do you call them? Asians in jail. There are Arabs in jail. There are Mexicans in jail. There are many people in jail in the US. Does that make them slaves? Not at all. Not at all. The Constitution in nowhere, okay, says that blacks are subhuman or slaves. Nowhere, okay? Now, furthermore, it says that they would come out afterwards. They would come out, okay? And that they would go back with great substance. Let me ask you, blacks are no longer slaves. Why haven't they gone back to Africa with great substance? Why are there still blacks in America now? Okay? And why is it that these blacks who have some substance, we can take all the football stars, all the sports stars that you have. We can take all the music stars and movie stars and artists and politicians and doctors, whatever have you, philosophers that are black in the US and they have great substance. Why haven't they taken their brothers in mass to go back to Africa? Because the slavery has ended. Slavery has ended because blacks have a certain, not all blacks, yes, there are many poor blacks, but there are also many poor Mexicans. There are also many poor, many people, okay? The American Indians are also poor, okay? But blacks are no longer what is called slavery. Blacks are no longer under that. Even Martin Luther King, Dr. Martin Luther King, okay? He wasn't a slave, but there were certain situations blacks were still considered second-class citizens and all that officially. Now you may say it's unofficial, be it as it may. But officially it is no longer so. There was the Emancipation Proclamation, that was one. And then there was what came with Dr. Martin Luther King, okay? To give blacks equal rights in the U.S. So if they have equal rights, a slave doesn't have equal rights as his master. If blacks have equal rights in the Caribbean, this means that in the U.S., this means that they are no longer slaves. So how is it that they are no longer slaves and they haven't been slaves for so long, yet they haven't gone back with great substance to Africa? You see what I'm saying? So right now, I've just proved that all of that is utter lies, foolishness, wickedness. Now, when people say that, yes, Jews are racist, I can prove to you that Jews are not racist. Let me show you right here that Jews are not racist. Now that doesn't mean that they are. You're not Africans. What are you? What are you? What are blacks? Let me prove that Jews are not racist. Here, okay, the chapter just one next to the other. Huh? Sometimes just by reading you see things, okay? You're Native American, blacks are Native Americans? Oh my. So if they are Native Americans, the Native Americans were almost decimated. The Indians that were there were almost killed, okay? You're saying, where do you come from? Blacks are Native Americans? You see, you're delving into more foolishness. I'm reading King James. It's not the 1611. It's said to be 1611, but the 1611 is much different. The English is much more archaic. So this is a revised, not even a revised version, but it's 1611, King James 1611, but not the proper 1611, if you will. Okay? So here's what is said here. If Jews were racist, look at this. Now Sarah, Abraham's wife, bear him. Now I'm not saying that there aren't Jews that are racist. They're racist in every people that are racist against other people or even against their own people. Okay? There are discriminations among people from village to village, from town to town, because of social class, because of intelligence, because there are discriminations done because of your size, your height, your weight, your intelligence, because of everything. Okay? Okay? Now here it is. Here it is. Now Sarai, Abraham's wife, bare him no children, and she had a handmaid, an Egyptian, whose name was Hagar. And Sarah said unto Abraham, Behold, now the Lord have restrained me from bearing. I pray thee, go in unto my maid. If Jews and Israel were racist, why would Sarah choose a black woman? Hagar was a black woman. She was an Egyptian, okay? Why would Sarah say, go into my black slave? Go into this black woman. Sarah was, if you call it, if she wasn't black, then you have black having black slave. If Sarah was black, as you claim that the Jews were black, okay, and Hagar is black, then you'd be having blacks having black slaves. But Sarah is not black. Sarah is a Semite, okay? Hagar is a Hamite, okay? Descendant of Ham. Egyptians are descendants of Ham. Sarah is a descendant of Sem, okay, of Shem, okay? Two different brothers, two different colors, if you will, okay? So here it is. Sarah, a Semite, one complexion, one type, one ethnicity, telling her husband, who is of the same ethnicity as her, same complexion as her, to take another person, and seemingly Hagar, seems to be a black woman, an Egyptian, okay? If Jews were racist, why would a white woman, if you call Sarah white, or a Jewish woman that is racist, tell her husband to have a child with her black slave, okay? And she said that the child that would come out from this union would be her heir, would be considered her own child. Why? Black Hebrewites are not Jewish, no. Black Hebrews are not Jewish. I just proved to you there are blacks that are Jewish, but the black Hebrew Israelites from the States are not. They claim that they are the real Israel. They are still under slavery. They will come out. They're still under slavery what? When will they come out? Slavery has been abolished in the U.S. And it didn't take them 400 years of slavery. Okay? When did Europeans go into America? When? Give me the year. Was it 400 years that they were slaves from back then until now, when the 21st century? That happened way back in the 17th century, 18th century? Huh? That was about 200 and something years slavery. And if you claim, yes, there were slaves in Africa also, that doesn't count. Because again, I said, it is written here, there'll be strangers in a foreign land. It's not talking about their own land. They shall be strangers in a land that is not theirs. So if you claim there were slaves in Africa first, that doesn't count. Because that land was theirs. You see how you're foolish? It's not just that it sounds foolish, it is foolish. Okay? So here again it is, okay? Sarah took a black woman, her servant, and said to her Jewish husband, Sarah, a Jewish woman, a Hebrew woman, took an Egyptian woman, and told her husband, go unto my Egyptian woman, my Egyptian servant, and have a child. If Jews were racist, okay, there's no way that Abraham would touch her. Abraham wouldn't touch her. And you say yes, he wouldn't touch her black skin, if you will, okay? No, the real Jews are not black Israelites. Again, I say, you can look from the beginning of this session here, okay? If real Jews are black Israelites, okay? C'est pas une interprétation religieuse, pas du tout, okay? If real Jews are black Israelites, explain to me how black Jews, black Americans, okay, who are said to be the black Hebrew Israelites, how are they still in America? They're no longer slaves after 400 years, and they haven't gone back into Africa. For one, if Africa is said to be the real Israel, okay? And again, I say, only parts of Africa, not all of Africa was brought into America. Only parts of Africa was brought into America as slaves. We know from the children of Israel, all were supposed to be brought as slaves in a foreign land, and all were supposed to be released. Where has that happened? It doesn't matter how or why the slaves owner did it, okay? There have been slaves all over, slave owners of all types all over. Okay? Everybody was black mixed at the time. You find that makes any sense? Because you have an ideology and you've been indoctrinated, you're sinking deeper and deeper with foolish reasoning. Foolish reasoning. Okay, foolish reasoning. Now here it is. Okay, but I'm asking you to prove to me. Okay? I'm not forcing any beliefs on others. Hey, the other people, you have the black Hebrew Israelites that are teaching. Okay? Are they not forcing their ideology? Be just. How am I forcing? What ideology am I forcing? I'm black. If you don't know, look at this. I'm black. I am black. Okay? My father is even darker. My mother is a white lady. Okay? But I'm mixed, if you will. I'm not racist neither against black, neither against white. I cannot hate any race or ethnicity as a matter of fact, okay? My father is a black man, my mother is a white lady. Shall I hate my father and love my mother? Shall I hate my mother and love my father? Now, if you want to say, whites used to rape black, well, in that sense, then you would say my father raped my mother, no? Huh? No, listen, I don't hate Arabs, huh? I hate Islam. It's not Muslims that I hate, because if I hate Muslims, then it's people that I'm hating. It's not the Muslims that I hate. I hate Islam as I hate many other religions. I hate Buddhism, I hate Catholicism and all those kind of things. Why am I ignorant? I'm showing you the truth and I'm ignorant. Explain that to me then. Explain to me why the blacks that were slaves in America, okay, did not leave with great substance to go back into. That means you're still a slave right now. I'm respecting others' beliefs and they should respect my beliefs. So you should also respect my beliefs, no? They teach their teachings. Can I not teach my teachings also? Huh? Are you really that much of a bigot? Or are you really that much of a fool? Tell me, which is it? So I can teach, they can teach and I cannot teach? They can teach and I cannot teach? So here's the conclusion of the matter. If Jews were racist, okay, if Jews were racist, et tu m'as dit, je vais te répondre tout à l'heure, pourquoi je défends plus les Juifs? Moi, je te dis pourquoi. Moi, ma vie n'a aucun... Yes, you're right, I have no knowledge, but you can't answer my questions. You can prove differently. Okay? You can't prove differently. Prove to me that blacks of America are still slaves. And prove to me. Non, je ne suis pas complexé, pas du tout. Moi, je suis croyant. Je suis croyant. Ok? Toi, si tu es musulman, tu es musulman. Si tu n'es pas musulman, tu n'es pas musulman. Si tu es catholique, tu es catholique. De toute façon, le pape pour les catholiques, c'est quoi? C'est un blanc, non? Donc ça te fait être soumis à un blanc, non? Hein? Le prophète pour les musulmans, c'est un arabe, non? Donc ça te fait soumis à un arabe, non? Expliquez-moi. Donc parce que moi, je défends Israël, parce que je crois religieusement, entre parenthèses, que c'est le peuple élu, le peuple choisi, ça me fait de moi un soumis vendu. Incroyable. Maintenant, j'arrive en français. Je vais refaire un live en français. So here's the truth right now. If Sarah was a racist woman, okay? Yeah, I speak English, French, a little Hebrew. I speak a little Spanish. I can probably not teach as well in Spanish because I'm not as good in Spanish as I used to be or as I should be. Okay? Non, c'est pas un complexe d'infériorité, pas du tout. Moi, j'en ai pas. J'en ai pas. So here it is. If she was j'ai pas dit que l'islam appartenait à l'humanité, aux Arabes. Ce que je dis, c'est ils me disent parce que je suis une Bible juive que je suis soumis aux Juifs. Yes, that's the Bible. And by the way, just so that you know, I'll say it again. That's the inspired word of the Lord, yes. I'll say it again. If you, as black people in the U.S., you use the 1611 King James Version as your Bible, as the word, okay? Oh, now the Bible has been changed many times, huh? So right now, what Bible is the black Hebrew Israelites using? It's been changed many times. Which one are they using? Huh? Again, I say, if they're using the 1611 King James, they're using a Bible that was translated by a white man, by order of a white man. King James was a white man that gathered, how you call them? That gathered, well, yeah, use the King James, I use the King James too. Je vais passer en français. Je viens tout de suite, je vais chercher la Bible française, je passe en français. So I'm going to stop the English and I'm going to turn to the French. I'm going to stop this live and come back to French in a while. Okay? But here it is yet still. Here it is yet still. Oh, the Bible was lost. So then how are the black Hebrew Israelites reading that lost Bible then? If the message was lost, they're reading a lost version. Translated by white people, okay? On order of a white king. How foolish is that? Why don't you take a black version of the Bible written and translated by a black man or black people on the order of black people? Why? Now again I say, Jews are not racist. Why do I say that? Hagar allowed her husband to go in onto a black woman. Sarah allowed her husband to go in onto a black woman, okay? Sarah allowed Abraham to go in onto a black woman, Hagar, and she said, the child that will come out will be as my child. How racist can you be if you want to have a mixed child or a black child, or if you allow your Jewish husband to go in into a black woman? How racist can Jews be then? Non, les Black Hebrew, mais il faut comprendre, les Black Hebrew Israelites, ils enseignent, moi je peux enseigner. Ils enseignent des bêtises, moi je peux enseigner ce que je veux, non? Non? Allowed it, she didn't say it would be. If Jefferson's wife allowed it, that doesn't mean that she would accept them as her children. Huh? That doesn't mean that Jefferson's wife would accept them as her children. Now, again, I say, prove me where the racism is. Prove me where the racism is. I'm going to the French now. Mais on peut se bailler, donc on peut se référer à rien du tout. No, not only allow her to lay, but she said the child would be as her child. Ah, j'ai jamais dit que tous les noirs trompaient. J'ai jamais dit ça. Moi, je ne trompe pas ma femme. Donc, il faut pas mentir. Il ne faut pas mentir sur moi. Il ne faut pas inventer des choses. Non, je n'ai jamais dit ça. J'ai dit que les noirs aiment les femmes, oui. J'ai pas dit que tous les noirs aiment, courent les femmes partout. Il y a beaucoup de noirs qui sont fidèles. Il faut pas mentir, il faut pas essayer La vidéo est là, hein. La vidéo est là. Donc, au lieu de mentir, tu peux aller revoir ce que j'ai dit. Il faut pas mentir sur moi. Justement, je laisse les vidéos en preuve. Je laisse les vidéos en preuve. Ok. Non, les deux n'étaient pas noirs. Non, non, pas du tout. Une était descendante de Shem et l'autre de Ham. Donc les deux n'étaient pas de la même couleur, la même ethnicité. Pas du tout. Hagar était une Égyptienne, les Égyptiens sont descendants de Ham. Sarai était une Sémite. Ok, elle était une Hébreu, les Hébreux sont descendants de Sem. Ok, Sémite. Ok?